Folks, World Cup cocktail time with Tim continues, and today it is Senegal. No, I do not have a fancy jersey or anything, but I do have a wonderful drink made from this hibiscus flower, which is going to be the star of this cocktail. But first, let's talk about the footy. So, Senegal, for most of World Cup history, including all of last century, really was an afterthought. It was either part of France that didn't gain independence until 1960, and then the second half they either didn't enter or didn't qualify. But that all changed in 2002, led by Cissé, the great Cissé, wonderful international player and a star cast of other players with him. They made Japan and South Korea in 2002, and not only did they make it and advance out of the group stage, but they made it to the quarterfinals, which is a pretty amazing feat for a first-time World Cup qualifier. Now, flash forward to 20 years later, Cissé is actually the coach, and they were supposed to be led by this another international star, Sadio Mane, the Liverpool, now Bayern Munich star, but unfortunately he is hurt and not in this World Cup. But they do have other world-class players, Mendy and Koulibaly and others that litter the European leagues. And there was a lot of high hopes coming into this tournament because they come in second in the African Cup of Nations in 2019 and won the whole thing just last year in 2021. But of course, without Mane, things aren't quite the same. However, so they started off a little slow, had a great game against the Dutch, but they lost 2-0, 2 late goals, but played really, really well. And then they beat up on the Qataris, and now it's really win or go home against Ecuador tomorrow morning. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so what are they drinking over there? Again, I mentioned the national drink is something called Bissap, which is basically a hibiscus flower, either from Egypt or from Jamaica or some other places around the globe, that they then boil and turn into a really sweet juice, or they just use in some of the teas. You may recognize hibiscus flower from being like things like Tazo herbal teas and things like that. So now their juice, their Bissap, is very, very, very sweet. I'm gonna make, and I did make, a little bit lighter version of it. I basically used a cup of the hibiscus flower, a cup of Demerara sugar, and 3 cups of water. So not a 1-to-1 simple syrup, but it is plenty sweet, believe me. So what are we gonna do here? So we're gonna make something I'm calling a Dakar cocktail. That's gonna feature this wonderful Bissap hibiscus flower. Okay, so we're gonna start off with 1 ounce of this sort of juice / spirit, or syrup, excuse me. Then we're gonna use 2 ounces of this nice plantation white rum. You can obviously use any rum you like, but I would stick with white rum. Then next, we're gonna add 1/2 ounce of lime juice, just to take a little of the sweetness away. And then lastly, we're gonna add, now if I had ginger bitters, that's what I think would go actually better than I've got, but I'm gonna use 3-4 shakes of the Angostura bitters. And then I'm gonna pop it in my Boston shaker. Again, I'd probably do this for about 30 seconds, but in the interest of time, I'm gonna shorten that up. All right. Now, we're going to take that, we're going to put it in my little coupe glass. And there we have the Dakar cocktail for Senegal. Is that right? Hold on. Where Gu Yarum. I said that correctly. Anyway. And that's delightful.